actually, Mr. Chafford, it's a one-party state in Ohio, so it's actually totally fine that I took pictures of my daughter and put them on the internet.
Are you referencing that
Max
sports?
Miller.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, I haven't watched too much of that scenario. Is that what he did?
If you haven't, everyone's reaction of "it only gets worse" is true to the point where the Dropbox of evidence that he released included photos of his 2-year-old daughter with like no clothes on, and he was like, "Actually, I'm allowed to do that because you don't need consent to take pictures or record people." That was his excuse for it.
Freak behavior. Jesus Christ. I like that he's not stepping down, too. He's like, nah, I can win this election. Nah, the Republicans, we got this. We're
about to see a generational crash out.
Who was the guy in, what was it, Alabama? The guy
Roy
who was
Moore.
like Roy Moore. This is like a Roy Moore, like a new Roy Moore situation where it's like there's just straight up a pedophile on the ballot and everyone knows this.
Yeah, that one was wild. And he only lost, it was like 49-51.
It was real close.
What a country.
No, there's a lot of bad here. And speaking of bad, this is Kill the Computer. As always, we got Caleb. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. Saw the sky for the first time in a few days today. Weather's nice, you know. I was telling you guys a little bit about this before I started recording, but like kind of like you're crashing or cramming, excuse me, for like a test or whatever. I was going through all this again before we started recording, and I watched like a good 45 minutes of Strawberrina content, and I started work at like 4 o'clock this morning, and I'm super tired, had a bunch of coffee, and I think just the combination of like being super caffeinated and tired and otherwise in kind of a bad mood, 45 minutes of that back to back of like Strawberrina compilation videos, like I had like it ticked my fight or flight response, and like I almost had a panic attack. I had to go for a fucking walk, dude. It was too much.
No, I think we've done a lot of really cursed and like videos, cursed content. We've like dug into some of the worst I think I've ever seen in my life through this show. Yeah. And this is, I think, some of the worst. It's way up there. It's the high level of bad.
It's like Szechuan peppercorns, how they like kind of are spicy, but they numb you at the same time.
Oh, I love that.
It's like that feeling, but on your brain. You know what I mean?
It's like it's Elsa Gate for adults.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, it's Elsa Gate for adults. That's a perfect comparison.
And to join us through the Elsa Gate for adults is Eliot and Ricky of Internet Today. How are you guys doing?
I'm great. It's so good to be back on West Computer.
Yeah, it's been a minute. New era.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Glad to be here.
So happy to have you both join us for this, especially. I mean, you guys cover a lot of different stuff on your show, politics, a lot of just internet stuff. But have you guys talked about like the Fruit AI verse, like the Fruitina, all of this? Have you talked about any of this before, or like dug into it?
Because I'm usually the one that watches like the weirdest content possible, but in this scenario, Eliot is compared to me an expert on the Love Island fruit weird AI stuff. I've always just skipped past it. I saw Tung Tung Sakura and I was like, that's the best it's going to be. I'll never need to pay attention ever again.
Yeah, that's true.
The full extent of my knowledge of this subject was, I think, when we did a video about how they were shutting down Sora or something like that. Right. And then it was just like a larger conversation on like how this stuff is not actually good for anything except for slop. And so for that, I went and got a bunch of Fruit Family Strawberrina B-roll, and
I've definitely seen B-roll on your guys' show at least once.
Yeah, the Instagram algorithm was like, "Oh yeah, he's loving it. He's loving it. We've got to get him pulled into the whole storyline."
Yeah,
I don't know if it's really like. I don't know, like Instagram. Maybe my algorithm is just so like finely honed, but I've never seen this kind of AI slop on there. This feels more TikTok / Facebook coded.
Mm-hmm.
This is for sure for me where I've seen the most of it is TikTok in particular, especially because like algorithms these days, I think it is because most algorithms are AI driven. They're so finicky. So if you watch or like a single like topic or video, it will just shove the rest of it in front of you and sort of introduce you to that entire world of especially this slop.
Yeah, well, TikTok algorithm is interesting too, and that's I think part of why you see this a little bit more there is it's a little bit easier to game, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's a really common thing to do on TikTok, at least, where it'll be like some bullshit like this, but it'll be like hashtag Taylor Swift, Puka Nakua, you know what I mean? And then like the description will be about like the Olympics or something like that. And then they'll even have like bot comments in their own comment section talking about some popular thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's a lot of how this stuff permeates.
I haven't used TikTok since like the pandemic. It sucks that it's a meta product. It's just so ubiquitous, but I do sometimes get on the Instagram reels, and I like that because it feels like the distilled, like either the most messed up or the actual like funniest stuff from TikTok that I'm seeing. But I agree that like if I click on a certain thing, I feel like it's just going to exhaust the past month's worth of content related to that, and then it skips me to like another topic.
No, that is absolutely how it is. But so you are still pure in the realm of like AI, Fruitina, Fruitverse type stuff. You are.
I've seen I've seen Lady Cappuccino or whatever, and
we'll be talking about Miss Cappuccino in a bit.
But for me, I already sound like a boomer because these are like antiquated characters by this point. I feel like these are like the first like round
pre Labubu.
Yeah, now they've got cappuccino, whatever, on like local coffee shop signs.
Yeah, like they're selling like trading cards of her in like knockoff shops and like farmers markets and stuff.
It's been really weird to see like the Sahur, that character and the cappuccino. Like they have like a lot of like buy-in from like I don't know if you guys saw that they are skins in Fortnite, which again it's Fortnite, but that is like huge culture. That is like a big thing for like AI slop characters to have a skin for. It sort of blew my mind that it permeated that to that level, to that degree.
Now the two things I have watched the last 2 seasons of Love Island USA. So in that aspect, I get the like the groundwork here. I'll understand the framing, and I also have specifically I have Strawberrina's wiki pulled up. Shockingly, she's from Ohio. I cannot believe this.
Ohio's finest.
Real. I didn't know
that's
that
awesome.
Either.
I actually have never seen Love Island, but I have seen every episode of Fruit AI Love Island. So together we can kind of come to a consensus here.
So Caleb, do you want to bring us into this world a little bit?
Yeah. What I want to do first is kind of like I talk about my experience with this. I want to do something a little bit different and draw the through line, because when I was talking about this with a friend, I was reminded of prior to Strawberrina, there was the cat. Do you remember these were popular on Twitter? That like cat comes home from work and gets cuckolded videos that were popular for a hot minute.
Meow, meow,
yeah, dude.
meow, 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 meow.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed. There is a through line there. So the actual genesis of like Love Island Fruit AI stuff is all the way back in January of 2024. There was that the Billie Eilish Meow song. There was a guy on TikTok that made a orange tabby called Chubby who had a son or some friend, I don't know, Chubby Jr. was a smaller version of Chubby that I think originated just as a hallucination, and they were like, fuck it, we ball. So there's two Chubby and Chubby Jr.
Oh god.
And it got like tens of millions of views, like I think it 38 million views on these like Chubby videos of it was just like Chubby with that song, the Billie Eilish song.
I thought that was an AI song. I'll be so real. I didn't realize it was Billie Eilish.
It's Billie Eilish's song, but it's AI meowing the melody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it would be impossible for any human to be able to do that.
That's why we have AI, is to do the things we can.
And don't you dare try to replicate it, or you'll be hit with an immediate copyright strike.
So it's important to note a couple things here. Is like You do see like the I would say that the guy his at on TikTok is MP Minds. He goes by Charles. Started Chubby off, I think, with not necessarily nefarious intentions. So, but eventually, like the through line, this is one of the patterns we're going to see as we go through all these is like they sort of like rot before they go away. So Chubby and Chubby Jr. started out as like victims of just like, oh, this poor cat is being bullied at school or whatever, and then it like gets really extreme really fast. Of like Chubby has substance abuse problems and Chubby has problems with extramarital affairs and body dysmorphia. And like whatever, because like to keep up with it, to chase that hit of the first like 10 million views you get, you know, you have to do more kind of extreme content. And what happens at that point is the something that morphed from that, which is the explicit, not Chubby, the ones where it's like the business suit cat comes home from work and I love my happy family and my pregnant cat wife. And then it cuts to the next scene and the cat's in the hospital. And wouldn't you know it, it's not an orange baby cat. It's a Siamese or a black cat or whatever. Black. Yeah. So by the way, black cat, common theme, just to get all this out of the way, a lot of these videos, even if they start more innocuous, all of them eventually do have iterations that are racist, they are misogynistic, they are Islamophobic. I mean, any kind of bigotry or like bad stuff you can find.
I just went to MP Mind's TikTok page and clicked on a random video. And it's tabby cat in military uniform going off to war, I guess. His obese cat wife is stoked, abusing the child cat on the phone with two like muscular black cats,
the buff hot cats,
who she's having like an affair with while her husband is away. Oh yeah, and it looks like the kid blows up the house. I don't know. I'm just
all of this is just this is just Tay in increasingly complex levels and animations. It's just whatever the internet is feeding it, it's going to get worse and worse. And I'm sure that obviously pushing it to an extreme, there's got to be something with the analytics and the algorithm to be like, all right, this is what the audience is craving.
Yeah. I mean that's sort of the thing, Caleb. Speaking of like how they would get like really explicitly like racist and like misogynistic, that's what I really quickly noticed when I saw a lot of these. Like I guess I saw a lot of these cat ones just at first, but then it so quickly became really reactionary content. And like, you know, I think we're all at least pretty aware like of how the right will use like this sort of thing as like really subtle like messaging, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it became so massive, the spread of these, especially how they rot and become pretty reactionary, happened so fast and got so much attention. And I think that's what was like,
it's not subtle anymore.
No. And that's sort of what blew my what blew my mind is just like how consistently I never saw the like sort of innocuous ones anymore. I only would ever see these like cuckold ones where it's like, okay, it's like clearly like a white family getting cucked by like a black guy. And it's like, I just became fascinated by like how this functioned really quickly, how it really quickly became like a tool in this way.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's sort of an ongoing theme in this show's history. The project that we're doing is like the structures, the algorithms, everything kind of like predetermines what is going to end up being made and what is going to end up being in front of the eyes of children in this case. And that is, it's going to eventually just go to its like pure, most psychotic base form of just like bigotry and a lot, by the way, a lot of fetish content as well. You know what I mean? It's just by design, it's going to just become that because you have to be that's what drives clicks basically. And these people are, you know, these are happening, I guess, materially. A lot of this is happening initially anyways, because, you know, like on X or whatever, or TikTok, all these platforms now offer, you know, money for, you know, for viral videos and stuff like that. So it's not a lot of money, but like what ends up happening and what people kind of get this sort of pastiche of irony in them, or they find them sort of charming and endearing or whatever, is, you know, they're not like made by people with English as their first language. You know, they're because it's people overseas where they might be able to support themselves based on what they can make on viral TikTok videos or something like that, right? And that's the novelty of that comes through. That's where Tung Tung Sahur, it's Tung Tung is associated with Italian Brainrot, which we're going to talk about in a second. But Tung Tung is actually from Indonesia, for example.
It's an instrument, right? It's like a.
I don't know what Tung Tung I think is a log, right? Do you guys know the? I don't really know much about Tung Tung except for like he's the good AI Brainrot.
So like the actual, from what I understand, what like Tung Sahur is like based upon is like an instrument or something like that. I don't entirely remember, but I believe it is a like instrument that is used during some celebration.
During Ramadan, it says character is an AI generated anthropomorphic kentongan, a traditional Indonesian slit drum of the type used during Ramadan as a wake-up call for the pre-dawn meal of sahur.
Okay.
It's
there you go.
Meal is sahur. Okay,
exactly. We're learning something new every day.
But that is how that started, I guess. It probably originated from someone in Indonesia, I would have to imagine, due to that.
It's a very clever way of tricking our children into becoming Muslim.
The right freaks out about, you know, Abdul El Said, Mamdani, but they don't even understand the methods of propaganda. They just think it's a fun little character. Nope.
Tung Tung Sahur says he just wants everyone to have health care, but what does Tung Tung Sahur really believe?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll kind of on a parallel path with the cat videos is Italian Brainrot. What's your guys' experience with Italian Brainrot?
Another thing, just like peripherally aware of it and like honestly pretty amused by it, like troubled by the fact that people seem to have genuinely become like fans of it, but like the existence of it was like, I would say, one of the more innocent uses of generative AI where I'm just like, this is stupid as fuck. So it's mostly harmless, and it's kind of funny to see like a shark with like airplane wings or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like it came during a transitional period between the like absurd hallucinations that AI was making and into the more like, I guess, corporate would call like the formal AI, generative AI that's like for them passable to their consumers. Like this was like a midpoint where it was like, yeah, you get Shrimp Jesus or you know,
I forgot about that.
Or like a cappuccino lady, and it's bizarre and it grabs people's attention, and I guess somewhat successfully to the producers of Fortnite or whatever, they see these as characters that are marketable and can actually pull in some money, and I guess they aren't wrong. But it was kind of that still in the uncanny valley. This is absurd. It's kind of funny to watch. And it's funny to see people like get worked up about it. And the comment sections were always great.
Yeah, I feel like these fall under a similar category. Like it was sort of like the early fascination phase of AI, which I consider like, if you guys remember the early DALL-E, like DALLE, that was sort of like, not a lot of people, including me at the time, like knew what any of this really was or meant or like came from really, and I was just sort of like, okay, this is like this is silly and fun. Yeah, it's kind of goofy. I at the time, we didn't
understand the stolen training data and the environmental concerns then, you know what I mean? It was still kind of like, okay, this sucks, but it's like whatever.
Exactly. And
it was fun when it was garbage. Like we covered like LLMs like way early on, like when they were
I fed 200 scripts of friends into an AI chatbot, and it's something ridiculous, and you're like, oh, that's cute, the computer made a joke.
It was like fascinating, and I'm like, okay, like that's a cool little trick, I guess. Right. But I'm never gonna use this in my daily life.
And then it's become a much larger and different thing. And now businesses are putting up like maggot filled looking food that's AI generated in front of their businesses. I saw that in my neighborhood. I was walking down the block. I was like walking to the grocery store, and I saw one of those like fucked up weird food signs, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I felt like I entered a fucking uncanny, like a different realm.
do what I do and theoretically go buy a paint marker, and when you see them, draw a giant AI slop on top of it. I have a green one and a red one, theoretically.
Oh, hell yeah. Theoretically, I will theoretically look into doing something like that. That's a good idea. But no, I couldn't believe that. But yeah, no, I feel like the Italian brain rot was like of that era, or like the beginning of the like, oh, this is like really bad for the environment phase. But I didn't really know too much about it. I just knew that Italian brain rot was like a thing, and I didn't really like know about it. I just know that it was like the same world as like Tung Tung Sohor, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really know about like the granular details of it for like years.
Yeah, it was look at that shark with shoes. That's silly.
It's so a three-legged shark with Nikes on. Count me in, dude.
I still hated it, for the record, but it was at the very least as funny as any like brain rot that was rising at the time. It was a very absurd time to be online.
Yeah, for me, I guess a lot of this stuff, even the Italian brain rot for me is just like, whenever I watch it, it is just out of pure fascination for like how odd it is. I just like, it's sort of like fast food for the brain, for the eyes. It's just like I can't look away because it's just like what the fuck is this? This has
the dumbest
2
thing I've
million
ever seen.
views. And it's just like I especially as Caleb, we're going to continue along, I think I've just been genuinely fascinated how it's gotten worse and more evil and like a lot more like racist and like how it's just like manifested in that way. It's just been genuinely fascinating to play out.
I'm sure you're going to talk about this, but I have like the firsthand experience of,
oh yeah, your dad.
Like sitting on the couch when he comes to visit, and he's just flipping through whatever the Facebook version of Reels is, and it is just completely fabricated, like liberal gets owned by muscular conservative. And it's these arguments that are just total hypothetical situations where like the muscular man has made fun of some purple-haired lesbian, and he's like getting a kick out of it, and scrolls to the next one, and it's just a nonstop feed of like liberals getting owned, or it's bizarre, and it's I still feel like he's somewhat young enough to distinguish that it might be fake, but I don't know. It's even for him, or definitely for people that are older, they might think this is actually real.
I think that's an element of it. We just on our last episode talked about those videos. I don't know if you'd seen it. The one going around where it was like the conservative guy.
I hate Donald Trump, and he punches him and runs away. Does the home run trot?
Yeah, it's like people are getting fooled by this shit and like clicking links to like buy these weird products and like getting scammed. And it's like, it kind of low-key has me worried for the future when I'm like 60 and this shit gets even more unbelievable and my brain's fried at that point. Like, am I going to have the same feed? Like, am I going to be falling for this kind of shit in 40 years? I have no idea.
I'm going to be living in a cabin like Ted Kaczynski.
Yep. And not to jump ahead, but when I did see the Google Earth shit, my immediate thought was, oh, fuck.
Yeah, dude, real bad.
Like the migrants at the border image and the nuclear plants in Iran, that stuff would absolutely work on boomers.
Oh my god, especially specifically, I'm glad you brought up the immigrant ones, because every election cycle we always see freakouts about like immigrant caravans.
The migrant caravan has advanced.
They are fueling up right now. James Tallarico is sending fuel down to the migrant caravans.
And it's like now they just have a device that could theoretically just make something that looks fairly realistic, especially to older people, to just freak them out.
Yeah, they used to have to put clips from World War Z on there and say that it was the border wall. Now they just hallucinate it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah.
Back to Italian brain rot, I guess.
Yeah, sorry. Let's take us back to even before. So the shark, the three-legged shark's name, for context, is let me pull up my Trallalero Tralala.
Oh, fuck.
And that comes from it comes from a meme featuring Dwayne The Rock Johnson back in 2003. And the top text would be Trallalero Tralala, and then I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's Italian, and it's on the bottom it rhymes with smerdo puree Nella Dalila or something, and it translates to "I shit even in the afterlife."
Hell yeah!
So I don't know, like that's where the Trallalera. That was like the first one.
That's where the Italian comes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the first one that really kind of breaks containment in the Italian brain rot is, what's his name? Oh yeah, Bombadillo Crocodilo. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, he's an alligator when he's an airplane.
Dude. Yeah, that one. It was kind of. This is why they're a little bit more endearing, is because they like are literally inspired by like Shrimp Jesus. You know what I mean? Where it's like this sort of, it's a hallucination that sort of takes a life of its own, and they're kind of playing into it. So like the Bombadillo Crocodilo one literally was just a fuck up. From what I understand, anyway, it was just a hallucination, and they just kind of ran with it. And if you don't know what it is, maybe I'll splice some audio in, but it's just like it's literally a crocodile's face on like a World War II bomber, and then it's like one of those horrifying TikTok voices talking about how much Bombadillo Crocodilo loves dropping bombs on the Middle East, and it's like,
Dear
oh
Lord,
god,
dude.
Yeah.
I'm looking at like the background on this right now, and it says that the original audio accompanying Trallalero Tralala includes blasphemy against God.
Yes.
Very
bigoted immediately.
Can I read the translation?
Please.
Of the song? Okay.
Oh,
Bombadillo Crocodilo, a fucking flying alligator who flies and bombs children in Gaza and Palestine. He doesn't believe in Allah and loves bombs. He feeds on your mother's spirit, and if you've translated all of this, you're an asshole. Don't ruin the joke, prostitute.
What the fuck, dude?
Fuck? Are you kidding me? Holy shit.
Well, goddamn.
Maybe not so endearing after all.
Yeah, that's the thing, is these things they started as a joke, and then they get kind of, very quickly turn into to that.
Yeah.
But this is sort of to bring this back even further. This is important because some of the other characters that show up during this time are Chimpanzini Bananini, Blueberrini Octopusini, and some of these other ones that are like, there's another one that I can't remember its name, but it's like a tiger watermelon or something. And so you get these, and then of course the heroine of the story, Ballerina Cappuccina. But you get sort of these like half fruit anthropomorphized, like human ones that are like talking, and then they have their own stories and stuff like that, right? So that's kind of where the fruit stuff comes from, because what happens at this point is there's an account that starts taking those same the chimpanzee Bananini and all these other ones, and making stories with them, and then from there it evolves into the trombone chef is the one who made the first big one, and that was it's notable because, like I said at the beginning, how they use like different hashtags to game the system. That guy's name at Trombone Chef was originally named like I think it was Healthy Tips for You, and their entire account was just like, again, some guy that's just trying to game the algorithm to get enough money or whatever through just slop and spam and whatever. And he makes this strawberry. It's based on one of the Italian brain rots of a woman cheating on her husband. That's like quite literally the exact same as Chubby. Instead of like Sad Cat Story, and it was called Sad Food Story, and it took the same description from one of the Chubby videos. And it's just that. It's just the genesis, so far as I could see, of Strawberrina getting cheating on her husband with her eggplant boss. The typical whatever.
I
one.
mean, the eggplant is like the black character.
Yeah, it's
typically
very racist. Yeah, that's what it explicitly is.
They're all very coded with the different fruits in different ways, especially how they talk, like their affect and how they talk.
Yeah, it's funny because like the male strawberries, or often they're also bananas, they kind of sound like an adult Shinji from Neon Genesis Evangelion. You know what I mean? They have like the anime protagonist voice or whatever. It's very bizarre.
They're always like fairly pathetic too.
Yeah, but that's kind of the thing, is like those two lanes, they were on parallel kind of paths, kind of merge here. And from there, that's the Strawberrina and stuff. That is where we get into the Love Island fruit AI stuff. Before we talk about that specifically, though, I know it's been a long journey just to get to this point. Can somebody explain Love Island to maybe somebody who doesn't know what that is, myself included?
Ricky, take this one. I've never watched it.
Yeah.
I've also not.
It's like they're on an island in Fiji, and the whole point is for them to fall in love, but they keep injecting new contestants into it in order to cause drama or potentially take partners away from each other. And then there's also, I've never actually watched it live, but there's a vote, like America voting aspect to it, where people can be either kicked off or brought back. And
it's very interactive from what I understand.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, if you watch it, and I know that this is an excuse that a lot of people use, but if you watch it as like a giant social experiment, you're watching kind of unfiltered Gen Z communicating and navigating through romance in a way that is so fucking bizarre for anyone that is even one generation removed. It has like that element to it, and it also has that car crash element of just like, oh, all these people are stupid, and you can't look away because you can't. It makes you realize, I guess, how far you've come compared to people in their 20s. It's fascinating. And I got into it because last year there was a character named, I believe it was Hoda, I can't remember her name exactly, but there was just so many memes that were flooding every aspect of social media. And I felt as it was my duty as an internet commentator to be aware of what was going on. And then I quickly got wrapped up into it.
And it's sort of sounds like it has a similar element to some of these like AI fruit videos where it's just like a fascination.
It's one to one. You're
the fascination with just how bad it can get.
Yeah. Well, that's just it too. Like I was watching this initially before I didn't really want to do an episode on this. It was requested. I'd been known of this for some time, but it was the same thing for me, man. It was like, I do this show. I should probably know what's going on. It's like this granting myself permission sort of to like engage with this or something. And then watching it. And then I have this like thought. It's like, okay, there's the layer of irony and detachment to me from this, and like my obligation to sort of know what's going on. Does that excuse me from watching this? Does that excuse us, all four of us right now, from talking about this? You know what I mean?
I thought about that before.
Yeah.
I've still not come to a good conclusion other than the fact that like it is in the ecosystem of the internet. Some of these have like tens upon 20 million views for some of these. Like they're going to be produced.
Hey everybody, it's Caleb. This has been a preview of a premium episode. You can find the rest at patreon.com/killthecomputer. I'd say there's about 40 minutes left with Ricky and Eliot. If you want to support them, they're at youtube.com/@internettodaytv. It's always a treat when we can get them on the show, so definitely support them. And thanks so much. We'll see you next time.